This was one of the first collage I made. And this right here is one of my favorite patterns. I'm going to show you how I made these particular prints using the most basic item you can find in your home. Yep, rubber bands and a little bit of thread. That thread is a game changer, as you will see in subsequent prints. Let's start with making two backgrounds using System 3 Prussian blue. I'm only going to show you the first one as the other one is just a repetition. As always, I'll also show you the attempts that did not turn out as good. This is so you understand that it can take some experimentation and a few tries to get some gel printing techniques to work. So don't get disappointed if it doesn't start working for you right from the start. I want a lighter color that will contrast well, so I use Wedgwood. I place the rubber bands randomly on the plate and overlap some of them to add some interest. It would look very boring if they were all separated. I do the same with the thread. I place it randomly all over the place, letting it take its own path. Next, I place the blue background so we can get our first pull. I tried to brayer over it, but not a good idea as it can likely tear the paper. You have to use your fingers for this one. Since the items we're using are not flat and have some height to them, you have to press firmly and make sure you get into all the crevices and empty spaces and try and get contact between paper and paint. I usually spend 30 to 60 seconds on this step, although I'm not showing you the whole thing. In this particular case, I wanted to get the ghost print directly onto the other blue background we made. That was a mistake. Because of this, I did not let the paint dry too much, otherwise the ghost layer would have dried out as well. So a lot more paint stayed behind on the plate. Let's see how our ghost print works out. Though I have an inkling it might not be as clean as I would like it to be. In the meanwhile, let's take another look at our first pull. The rubber bands are nice, but that thread just leaves an amazing trail. I have a feeling I'm going to be adding thread to a lot of my future prints. Let's turn our gel plate around, and as suspected, our design is not as clear as we would have liked it to be. But it still is interesting enough to be used in a collage. There is an advantage to placing your gel plate on an acrylic sheet. You can turn it around and see what design is going to turn up on your paper provided you wait for the paint to dry. I waited long enough for the paint to dry and you can see that we got the exact same result we saw earlier when flipping the acrylic sheet. And here are both the prints side by side. For the next print, we are going to be a little bit smarter about it. Hence, I only make one background to be used with our first pull. And this time, instead of having a darker background and having the contrasting light color on top, I decided to go the other way around and start with a lighter color. Both approaches work, it just depends on the look you're going for and your personal preference. I used Wedgwood for the first layer and processed magenta for the second. Originally, the plan was to use black, but my paint decided to act up and the binder and pigment separated. This is why you can still see some black on the plate mixing with the magenta color. Let's go through the whole process again and place the rubber bands and thread randomly on the plate, making sure we overlap some of the pieces. Remember to press on the paper for 30 to 60 seconds to make sure your paper makes contact in all the open areas. And this time, I am not worried about the ghost print drying. So I wait and pick up the print once the paint has dried. See the difference? We have picked up almost all of the paint. Now instead of using another background sheet to pick this up, we're going to put the background directly on the plate and use it to pick up the ghost print. I put too much white paint, but no worries, we will use the brayer to pick up the extra and roll it off on our cleanup sheet. Liking this tutorial so far? Don't forget to subscribe so you can see more videos on gel printing. Let's flip it to see how it looks. Oh wow, that is definitely way cooler. You can see the ghost left by the individual rubber bands and the thread. Let's pull up the print. And wow, I absolutely love this one for sure. Now look at this one and the one we made previously. What a difference. One of them is definitely cleaner than the other one. What is your color preference? Light on dark or dark on light? Let me know in the comments below. Next up, find some paper clips. Who doesn't have those at home? Though a tiny hint, the bigger the better. I had two sizes at home, so I decided to mix them both up. I decide to go for light background once again, and white it is. The second layer is going to be processed magenta. I hope you can tell by now what my favorite paint color is. I put them randomly on the plate, making sure to stagger them all over. I do wish I had some of those jumbo paper clips as well. Guess what I'm going to get on my next visit to the stationery store? It was a bit difficult to press in between the smaller paper clips, but I managed. The bigger size was much easier to work with. Let's get our primary pull. Wow, you can actually see the paperclip design in your print. The ghost print should be even better. Let's remove the paper clips carefully so we don't lose our ghost print. But as you can see, the ghost print for two of the smaller paper clips got a bit messed up. The rest are fine though, so we go ahead with this by adding a white background. Let's flip the plate over to reveal what we will get, because we are too impatient to wait for the pull. And as expected, the ghost print of the paperclip looks amazing, other than the two that sadly ghosted us. Yep, that looks lovely. So far, we have used rubber bands, thread, and paper clips. Items you can find so easily in your house. Now let's make one last print using all three together to make an even more awesome print. This time, I'm using buff titanium as the background. For the second layer, we are going to be using a red color. And then we place all the three items randomly over the gel plate. The only thing I overlap with the paper clips is the thread, as it won't be possible to press the paper in those tiny spaces if we overlap with anything more dimensional. I love the first pull and can't wait to see what the ghost print will look like. Let's use buff titanium to pick our ghost print. I love the combination with red. Ideally, that amount of paint should have been enough, but I felt like there were parts that were not covered and I did not want to risk losing the print. So I did what I thought was a smart thing and added more paint. The moment I added more, I realized I had to work very quickly. If the first layer dried while I was brayering over it, it would start taking the paint off, including that very ghost print I did not want to risk in the first place. Thankfully, I managed in time. And of course, impatient me quickly flips the plate to see what we will be getting. Ooh, I think I know which one is going to be my favorite print from today. So let's pull it up. Oh, such a beauty. Let's take a look at the prints we made today. First is a blue one where we didn't get such a clear print. Then we have the processed magenta one where we managed to add black to the mix. But look at how beautiful that ghost has turned out. After that is a paperclip, which has turned out great, except for two losses in that corner, but honestly it doesn't matter if you're going to use it for a collage. Finally, my absolute favorite. I love both of the final prints. Let me know which one is your favorite in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on all notifications if you don't want to miss out on future videos.